Disney World can be overwhelming, especially if it's your first time ever or your first time in a long time. So let's talk about everything you need to know about Walt Disney World. Let's go. Today we are going to be spending some time in the parks going over the 10 most essential Disney basics that you might not know about, or they may have changed since the last time you visited. Now, before we really get into all of those Disney basics, you have to understand what is Disney World. And you might be thinking, if I'm watching this, I probably know what Disney World is, but you'd be surprised. There's a lot. So if you're super new here, welcome. Let's chat a little bit about what Disney World is. So Disney World is actually located in Orlando, Florida, and it is the second domestic theme park built by the Walt Disney Company. Disney World is made up of 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, a shopping district, 32 resorts and hotels, several golf courses, a camping ground, and a lot of other entertainment spots. So the 4 theme parks are easily the biggest part of Walt Disney World, and it's probably what you think of when you think of Disney World. They are Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. Now today we're going to be hanging out in Magic Kingdom, which is the OG park, the original 1971 icon, which is where you're really going to find all of that fantasy. This is where you're going to find the iconic castle and rides like Space Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Jungle Cruise, Big Thunder Mountain, and more. Now Epcot opened next in 1982 and features that famous Epcot Ball, as some people call it, but if you're new here, it's really called Spaceship Earth. You're gonna find the World Showcase here, Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, Frozen Ever After, Test Track, and more. So lots of big favorites. Now that we've been to Epcot and Magic Kingdom, let's talk about our third park, Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios opened in 1989, and it takes you straight to the home of the stars. Here in Hollywood Studios is where you're going to find the famous recreation of the Chinese theater as the park icon, and you're going to find rides like Star Wars, Rise of the Resistance, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, and Slinky Dog Dash, just to name a few. And for the last of the 4 parks, we might get a little bit wild because we're going to talk about Animal Kingdom. Now, Animal Kingdom, it was the last one to open in 1998, and this is where you're going to find the Tree of Life, Flight of Passage, Dinosaur, Expedition Everest, and lots of Lion King dad shirts. So really the main overview here is to understand that Disney World is huge. Like, it is massive. It's honestly not possible to do everything in one trip if you're really talking everything. But we do want to help you maximize, so maybe stick around, watch All Ears. We've got some tips. And now that you kind of understand the basics of what Walt Disney World actually is, let's talk about tickets and reservations. So there are 2 main types of tickets when you're coming to Walt Disney World. One is the 1 park per day ticket, so you're only going to go to 1 park per day. And then the other one is park hopper tickets, which means you can go to multiple parks a day. There are also ticket add-on options. You can add on water park and sports options, which you can add to your 1 day per park ticket. You can get access to Disney's Blizzard Beach, Disney's Typhoon Lagoon, ESPN Worldwide Sports Complex, Disney's Oak Trail Golf Course, Disney's Oak Trail Golf Course Foot Golf, Disney's Fantasia Gardens Mini Golf Course, and Disney's Winter Summerland Mini Golf Course. Now there are also park hopper options, which you can actually add on to your ticket. Though park hopper tickets do actually give you access to all 4 of the Walt Disney World theme parks, the Park Hopper Plus option also includes admission to Disney's water parks, ESPN Sports Complex, the golf courses, and its mini golf courses. You can also add on something called Memory Maker, which helps you preserve your Disney memories. This is essentially where Disney will take photos of you and your entire family, so that way you can preserve those photos. A lot of times it's mom is in some of the pictures and dad is in some of the pictures, but this lets your whole family be in the photos. There's 2 different kinds. There's Memory Maker 1 day, where you can choose a select day for when you want your photos, or you can do the entire Memory Maker package, which comes along with your entire trip. But now that we've added all of our special add-ons, let's talk about special event tickets. Now, on top of your normal park tickets, you can actually buy special event tickets as well for events like after hours events, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Jollywood Nights, etc. Guests will need to buy those special events tickets. Now, your regular theme park ticket will not work for entry into these special ticketed events. For example, if you have a 1 park per day ticket and you're visiting Magic Kingdom on a day that it's hosting Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, your regular admission ticket ends at the regular park closing hours that day, and you cannot attend the party. If you wanted to attend that party, you'd have to buy an additional ticket on top of your normal park ticket, and sometimes they can cost just as much as a normal full day. It's also important to know that on those days of parties like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Magic Kingdom will close early, so if you bought a regular park ticket, you might not get to experience that full day here or even experience fireworks at night. Now, on top of all of these ticket options, there are also annual pass options, but worrying about annual passes are a little bit past the basics, so we're not really going to get into that today. Now, when it comes to ticket pricing, tickets prices are date-based and dependent on when you're going. So be sure to double check when and where you want to go before you buy. So we now have all of our tickets, but we can't get into the park just yet. Well, some of us at least. So let's talk about reservations. Now, before heading into the theme park, some of us still need a reservation. Soon, park pass reservations will not be needed at all for those who have date-based tickets. So in other words, people who buy theme park tickets that are tied to a specific date or set of dates won't need park passes at all. And this change actually starts taking place on January 9th, 2024. Park pass reservations are, however, still required for other admission types, quote unquote, including those who do not have date-based tickets. So that's going to include people like annual pass holders, cast members, and other non-date-based ticket types, like those who get non-date-based tickets for conventions or part of student groups or things like that. For annual pass holders, you can enter the parks after 2 p.m. without a reservation except at Magic Kingdom on Saturdays and Sundays, and all applicable blockout days still apply. Now, another fairly recent change is starting in 2024. Disney is going to introduce good-to-go days for annual pass holders and cast members. On these days, the visitors will be able to visit the parks without a park pass reservation. The world is healing. Now that we know how to get into the park, that's probably our arguably most important reservation, but after that there's still dining reservations. So let's talk about what it takes to eat in Disney World. Now, when it comes to dining in Disney World at a sit-down experience, there are some reservations that are, shall we say, better than others. So let's talk about how to book those advanced dining reservations, or ADRs as some people call them. Now, one thing that is really important to note is that all guests can make those ADRs, even if you're not staying on property. However, any dining reservations that you do make inside the park, you still do need a park ticket and reservation. Now, all of these ADRs can be made up to 60 days in advance. Popular spots like Cinderella's Royal Table tend to fill up pretty quickly, so if there's a reservation you really want, we recommend getting up when that 60-day window opens. When booking those reservations, you can do that through the My Disney Experience app or online. Just be sure to have your credit card info ready, since they're going to need that to hold your reservation. Now, just a reminder, that reservation window is going to open around 5:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the reservation hotline opens up at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That being said, there are still tons of restaurants in Walt Disney World, and it's not always easy to decide what you want, so we do have full restaurant ranking videos up for every single park on the channel right now, so go check those out. You can also find a full review for every single restaurant in Disney World up on the AllEarsNet blog right now. So now that we're ready to head into the parks, we have our tickets, we have our reservations. Let's talk about what it takes when you actually get here, and that's going to start with rope dropping. Now, when it comes to heading into the parks, we here at the AllEarsNet crew feel very, very, very strongly about rope dropping. Rope dropping is basically when you get to the park before it even opens, and you're able to line up and then get on the best rides and the biggest rides with a lot lower wait times. Now, in the past, they used to have like a real physical rope that they would drop. That's not really a thing anymore, so we just kind of still call it rope dropping. We personally believe that rope drop is an essential part to maximizing that Disney vacation, and in our opinion, it can actually really help you get the most out of your entire trip. Now, we know that going from park open to close can be really tiring, so we have done an experiment to see when you get the most out of your time, whether it's the first 2 hours of the day or the last 2 hours of the day, and you can actually check that out on the channel right now. We also have tons of rope drop experiments on the channel for each park, so if you're curious about the best strategies, you can check those out as well. But now that we're in the park, we've kind of started off our morning. There is one thing that we need to make sure that we have downloaded before we ever get here, and that is the My Disney Experience app. So this app is going to be the literal key to your kingdom. The My Disney Experience app is where you're going to be able to find your tickets, your dining reservations, the details of your Disney hotel, your Disney PhotoPass photos, park maps, mobile ordering, Genie Plus, virtual queues, and more. This thing is a true necessity to maximize your Disney experience. It is a free app that's easy to download and free to sign up for, but if you already have a Disney Plus account, or even you bought your theme park tickets, you might already have one. We'll talk more about the most important features of My Disney Experience in a little bit more detail in just a minute, but it is important to know that this is where you're going to find live wait times in the parks, which are going to help with all of your decision making. You can also find park maps in the app, which is really, really important, because if this is your first time or you just need a little bit of help jogging your memory, this is where you're going to be able to find rides, dining location, character attractors, entertainment spots, anything that you're not 100% where it is, you can find it in the My Disney Experience app. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail about the two most important aspects of the My Disney Experience app. The first one being Genie Plus. Now, in the beginning, this was a pretty controversial topic, we'll say, but we've had some time to adjust to it, so let's break down Genie Plus and how you're going to access it through the My Disney Experience app. Now, Genie Plus is what Disney used to replace the previous Skip the Line service, FastPass, and that's really what Genie Plus is a Skip the Line service. There are 3 tiers to it. The first one is a free tier on the My Disney Experience app, and it's called the Tip Board. It gives you access to kind of suggestions, times that they think you might be able to do things for free. It's on the app. It's not really our favorite feature. It doesn't really do a ton, but if you want some suggestions, you get them for free. The second tier that you're going to find is Genie Plus, which is going to give you access to most of the lightning lanes in Walt Disney World. Now, this is a fee. It is anywhere from $15 to $35 per person per day, and it can get a little pricey. And it doesn't give you access necessarily to every line in Disney World, which takes us to the third tier. Now, this is the individual lightning lane tier. It is an additional price per day on top of that Genie Plus price per person, and it gives you access to 1 lightning lane to the biggest ride in each park, although Magic Kingdom has 2 individual lightning lanes. Now, one thing that is important to understand is you don't have to buy individual lightning lanes and Genie Plus. If you just want to skip that 1 line, you can just buy that 1. And if you don't really feel like that 1 is necessary for you, you can just buy Genie Plus. So why is it so important? Honestly, it's a little bit annoying, but Genie can really help you maximize your day. This service can save you some serious time when waiting on the biggest rides in Disney World. Learning Genie Plus is kind of like riding a bike. It's difficult at first, but once you understand, you're all set. Now, when it comes to purchasing Genie Plus, be sure to have your valid Disney park ticket and your reservations ready to go, because you can purchase it, but you can't make those first selections until you have both of those things squared away. From the main menu in the My Disney Experience app, you're going to select My Disney Genie Day, and then you're going to hit the My Day tab, then tap Get Disney Genie Plus for today. Guests can purchase Genie Plus starting at midnight on the day of their visit, and on the busiest days, we do recommend buying ASAP because Genie can sell out, and it has before. This is also when you're going to find out the price of Genie Plus. Now, Genie Plus will tend to be pricier on those busy days, and that's kind of how you can gauge how busy the parks will be. $15, the parks won't be bad. $35, it's going to be a doozy. But you cannot find out the price of Genie until that day. So we always recommend budgeting for the highest price, and then if you don't have to pay it, you're good. Now that we've purchased Genie, let's kind of figure out a little bit of how to use it. So you're gonna book 1 lightning lane at a time, which is a little bit different from FastPass when you could grab your first 3 before your visit even started. Starting at 7 a.m. on the day of your visit, guests can book their first lightning lanes of the day. At the same time, Disney Resort guests can purchase their first individual lightning lane of the day. Now, people not staying on property can purchase that individual lightning lane when the park opens, so those times can vary. Make sure you know. Traditionally, Magic Kingdom is around 9. On slower seasons, sometimes can be 8. So just double check that calendar on the My Disney Experience app. Now, guests can actually hold 2 of those individual lightning lanes per day, so don't anticipate skipping the lines for the 4 most popular rides in Disney World in one day, because you can only hold 2 of them. For each park, we do recommend that you have 3 attractions to kind of prioritize. For Magic Kingdom, we always go for Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, or Haunted Mansion, or kind of whatever else has the latest time available. For Hollywood Studios, it's gonna go Slinky Dog Dash, Tower of Terror, and Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. For Epcot, it's gonna be Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Test Track. Although often lately, we've been going for Remy's first because it really disappears. And then over in Animal Kingdom, you're gonna go for Na'vi River Journey, Kilimanjaro Safaris, and Expedition Everest, or Dinosaur, whichever is, again, later. Kind of varies depending on the crowds. So you book that first one at 7 a.m., but then after the park opens, whatever time that may be, that's when you can start looking to grab your second one, which you can do kind of one of 2 ways. One option is to grab your second lightning lane as soon as you use your first. So say you grab a lightning lane for 9-10 a.m., as soon as you tap in, you can go ahead and grab that next lightning lane. If you use your first lightning lane within the first 2 hours of the park, you can go back to My Disney Experience and make your next choice right away. Now, the second option is to wait for a quote-unquote 2-hour cool down. This is if your first lightning lane time is more than 2 hours past the park's opening time, and once your cool down is over, you can go ahead and grab that second lightning lane. This process is going to continue the same way for the rest of your lightning lanes, and you can even check out an entire video we've done called GD 101 if you want more examples and a bigger breakdown of the entire service and the history of it. Now, yes, Genie Plus is one of the biggest aspects of the My Disney Experience app, but probably the second biggest is going to be mobile ordering, which can really help you save time when you're hanging out in Walt Disney World. Mobile ordering is available at select quick services throughout Disney Springs, Disney World, and the resorts. Mobile ordering can really help you save time on a busy park day because it allows you to order ahead of time and aim to skip those longer lines during peak meal times. To mobile order, you're just going to click that plus sign in the middle of your My Disney Experience app and then hit order food. Then after that, you're going to be able to filter and select where you're going to grab your food from. If you are actually in Magic Kingdom, you can actually go ahead and start selecting either as soon as possible or schedule for later from the top of the screen. If you want to order as soon as possible, you're going to be shown those arrival windows that open ASAP for each restaurant. You can scroll down further to see a drop-down list of locations at each park, hotel, and Disney Springs. You can choose between schedule now or schedule for later, and from there you're just gonna go. You're gonna choose your lunch and you're gonna begin your order. Once you've chosen what you're gonna grab on, you can go ahead and check out with your credit card, Disney gift card, Disney reward card, Apple Pay, or even the Disney dining plan. And then boom, it's mealtime. But all of this to be said, we've grabbed tickets, we've grabbed Genie Plus, we've grabbed our food. Now let's talk about how to get around. Just knowing how to get around Disney World is going to be a huge part of your trip. Disney World is massive, which we kind of already talked about, but I don't know if you know exactly how big. Like, I need to stress, it is 43 square miles. That is literally the size of San Francisco, friends. That's huge. And because of that, there are tons of ways to get around. There's buses, boats, Disney Skyliner, the monorail, and the Disney minivan service. Now, all of these except for the Disney minivan service are complimentary with your hotel stay, and depending where you stay, there might only be one mode of transportation, or there might be several. Make sure to check out your My Disney Experience app just so you know which options come with which resorts.
Buses will take you to all of the Disney theme parks, Disney Springs, and the water parks. When it comes to boats, guests of select Disney resorts can actually enjoy complimentary boat service to and from Magic Kingdom Park, Disney's Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and throughout all of Walt Disney World. Disney's monorails can get you to Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and the Ticket and Transportation Center. It can also take you to Disney's Contemporary Resort, Disney's Polynesian Resort, and Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. When it comes to the Skyliner, it's going to take you over to Hollywood Studios and Epcot from your resort, and it's available to get you to Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, and Riviera Resort. Minivans are actually powered by a lift, and they do cost an additional fee. It has seating for 5 people, plus a complimentary car seat which can be used by one of the 5 passengers. There are 2 spaces for mobility devices, but guests must remain in their mobility devices for the duration of the ride. There is a maximum capacity of 7 guests per the accessible minivan. Complimentary resort transportation begins 45 minutes prior to the Disney theme park's opening and are available up to an hour after the Disney theme park closes. Additionally, buses will operate until 11 p.m. from Disney Springs. Certain areas of Walt Disney World are actually connected by well-lit, paved, and low-grade walking paths.
Now, we've talked about transportation, and I've actually mentioned it, but let's talk about what it means to stay on property. Staying on property is when you just stay at an official Disney World resort. Now, in the past, this used to be like a huge benefit to your Disney World trip, but now it's kind of lessened and lost some of those benefits throughout the years. However, there's still a few left, and you might be surprised by actually how many are left.
There are a few different kinds of resorts. There are value resorts, moderate resorts, and deluxe resorts and villas. Now, there is no denying that staying on property can be more expensive than staying at a non-Disney resort, but there are a few perks that come with it. You get access to that free transportation, you get the full Disney experience and immersion, you get access to early entry, which is an extra 30 minutes in the parks in the morning. You can also get to experience extended evening hours on special nights. You can now add on the Disney dining plan to your Disney Vacation for 2024 vacations, and you get first dibs on those advanced dining reservations. Everyone gets to make advanced dining reservations 60 days in advance, but if you're staying on Disney property, you can make a few of yours just a little bit early. By staying on property, you actually get to make your entire trip's advanced dining reservations, when your 60-day window opens. That means if you're staying on Disney property for 10 days, then you can actually snag some of your advanced dining reservations for the last days of your full days. So say you're staying for 10 days, you can book your advanced dining reservations 70 days out. And you even get to choose your individual lightning lanes earlier than everyone else, starting at 7 a.m.
So now we have talked theme parks, transportation, eating, food, lots of things. We've chatted a lot. One of the last big things that you need to know, not quite the last, but one of, is what is Disney Springs? If you've never been to Disney World and you're really not into all of this, but you're going on a trip, you might not have ever heard of that before. So let's talk about what Disney Springs is. Disney Springs is a really great way to experience a little bit of that Disney magic, even if you're not going to the parks. Like when my family used to come to Florida, but we weren't necessarily going to the parks, so we would go to Disney Springs. Or it's a great way to just kind of take a break during your Disney World trip.
Disney Springs can be described as a shopping, dining, and entertainment complex, and while it offers a number of Disney-owned stores and locations, it also is home to a vast variety of non-Disney stores and restaurants. Plus, it's free to enjoy. Disney Springs is located on the east side of Walt Disney World near Typhoon Lagoon, and it sits across the water from Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort near Disney's Old Key West Resort and Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter. Guests at Disney's Old Key West Resort at Saratoga Springs and both Port Orleans French Quarter and Port Orleans Riverside can take a water taxi to Disney Springs. Saratoga Springs guests also have a walking path to Disney Springs. Disney Springs has tons of dining options too. Options range from kiosks, food trucks, bakeries, and to quick service spots, plus a ton of acclaimed table service restaurants. There's even a cupcake ATM outside of Sprinkles Bakery, a bar and lounge themed to Indiana Jones, and a spot to grab Dole Whip. Disney Springs has 104 shopping spots for everyone in the family. There are tons of Disney and non-Disney stores alike. You can also find bowling alleys, Cirque du Soleil, and an AMC.
Now, the last of our 10 topics that we're going to talk about is basically your park survival needs. Let's go home and pack for a second. So when it comes to packing for Disney World, there is honestly a lot you're going to need. And we're going to talk about necessities right now, but honestly, there's a full packing list over on AllEarsNet that I highly recommend you go check out. However, let's talk about some of my favorite things that you might need. 1, a good backpack for the parks. You're just gonna need your stuff. This one's a little bit small, especially if you're carrying for more than just yourself, but they're pretty cute, so I have a lot of them. Extra battery packs, you're gonna use your phone a lot, especially if you use my Disney Experience app. You're gonna have to. We already talked about that. I normally carry 2. You're gonna need a charging cord. I love this one. It's like 6 feet long, so I can leave the pack in here and be able to carry my phone around, but I like to keep it in the bag, so that way it doesn't get messy. Ponchos. Orlando's unpredictable. It could rain right now. It could be raining yesterday, and it will still impact you. So bring your rain gear. Medication. The Disney parks are hard, especially if you don't if you're not that active all the time, like if you work a desk job or you're just not as active. So, any medication you might need, extra. Benadryl, allergy medication, ibuprofen, Tylenol. Bring it with you. A mini fan. I actually really love this one. It looks like Mickey. It won't last as long as other fans, but it's really compact, and honestly, it lasts a lot longer than you would think. So, anti-chafe sticks, power cords if you're staying in the room and you have a lot of people with you, cooling towels, sunscreen, sunglasses, hats, wet wipe, hand sanitizer, Band-Aids, just to name a few things. And no, I'm packing in something much bigger. And also, outside of your necessities, of course, you're gonna need your park outfits. So if you're ever curious, or you just want some inspiration, or you're not entirely sure what to wear depending on where you're going, we have a full thing called All Ears Style. Check us out on Instagram. We have lots of inspiration and kind of how-to tips and packing things, so go check it out. Disney is for everyone. It is not just for kids, and that is one of the basics that you have to understand before you get here. Now, a lot of people tend to associate Disney with kids, and so a lot of teenagers, adults, grandparents really don't have a desire to go. But then you get here with your family and you realize it is a lot more than that. Truly, the most important thing about Disney World is that it's for everyone. That's why Walt Disney created Disneyland. That's why they expanded, is he wanted a place for parents and kids to be able to go together and everyone have fun. So while the rides might not be some of your most exciting ones, like Dumbo, there are huge rides for teens. There are big rides for families. There's so much for every single age group, from drinking to dining to just shopping and having those family experiences. There are very few places on the planet that can let you have that much fun as an entire family. So really, the most important basic is just Come, have fun, and don't worry, because it is for everyone. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and learning the basics with me today. Let me know your favorite basic tips in the comments and things maybe we didn't get to chat about just yet today. If you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now to learn how to do all of the parks perfectly, you can go check out our Perfect Day in Magic Kingdom up on the channel now. I'll see you there.